Okay, we're going to have a look at one point perspective based on the rationalized shape that we've got above. We're going to start by drawing one side of it. So that's going to be the front. So the front would be this side. Then what we're going to do is we're going to project away and make up our cuboid. Once we've done that, we're going to start working out where each different element feature is located, and we're going to draw that in. And so without further ado, let's have a look at it. Just make sure you can see me. Yep. What I'm going to do first of all is I'm going to draw a line top and bottom, and I'm going to split that into one square, which we did before, two squares, and a unit. So roughly, I know that that square is about 7 by 3. And it's 7 by 3, of course, because we've got our 3 here and we've got our 7 here. Just going to just check that. I'm okay with that. Yeah, 7 by 3 is fine. All right, once I've done that, what I'm going to do is take this as the top right hand corner. I'm going to go this dimension or this distance up again, and then I'm going to come out by that distance and come out by that distance again. And I think that gives us quite a nice vanishing point or viewpoint for our corners to go to. So you can see that I'm just ghosting it in beforehand. But what I've produced now is the vanishing or perspective lines coming off, which, yes, you can see. Now what I want to do is just pencil everything else in. I know that that end section there is a square, so I've got to judge this and make that look round about square, which I think is round about there. And then what I need to do is put my horizontal in, which isn't that horizontal, to be honest with you, is it? Probably better to go from there. Okay, that is my cuboid. And that, of course, relates to what we have above. So what are we going to do first? We've got to appreciate that this side here, this final square, only really, the front plane of it is only the right half of that square. What I mean by that is that as that starts to curve, it is no longer part of that front plane, and it becomes part of the plane, which would be back here on the drawing. So I'm just going to draw these lines in, which are going to guide me. I think this point here, as I was saying, that plane, that finishes about probably 1.5 units, as we spoke about before. So I'm going to draw a line down the middle of there, which symbolises what we've got above. What else do we have? I'm going to draw this line in. Now I think that's probably 1 unit here, and then this is probably 2 units there. So just looking at this, just going to look at dividing this up. Okay, and so if that line there is that line there, then what I also have is this line here coming across. And can you see that just as before with the curved back section, this angled part is no longer part of that front face. And so that shape finishes there, and that angle will be coming back here. But we'll do that in a minute. All right, and so I've drawn in that front face, which is this part. I can then look to just project to my vanishing point. Right, what's next up? Next up is what parts of the shape are on this plane here. Well, really the only part is this, isn't it? This front area I'm going to shade in. And so what we can do to find out where that is, I mean, we've split that into about 3, haven't we? And then we split that into about 3. And so it's going to be it's going to be occupied by that part there, isn't it? And you can see that because I've done exactly the same above. And so we've drawn this face in, and we've drawn that face in, and now we could draw the top face in as well if we wanted to. But before we do that, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to draw and just connect some of these angles up, so you get a better impression of the shape that we're drawing in. I know from this point here we can draw this line in until it meets the line I've just drawn, so I can draw that line in, and it's at that point that we get this vertical. Make sure you can still see. Yes, you can. So you can see this coming together. Okay, from that point that we've just drawn, we know a line goes all the way down to, I know it's a little bit different, but roughly that point there. And so I'm going to join those two up. And then if that is one unit, and that is the second unit, and that is the third unit, of course, we also know there is another line going down like that. And then we have this line here, which goes off and then drops down. So we're really starting to get this drawn in. What I haven't done, I've got to project that back, and then project that back, and have a return on the other side. So that's our shape, apart from the curve and the hole going through the middle. What I'm going to do is I'm going to project this across the middle, and so I know that my curve starts or ends here, and it needs to really, the apex or the top of the curve needs to be about there. So what I can do now is I can draw my curve in, going around, just try and do this to the best of your ability. And then what I do is on the left hand side, I drop a line down, because that becomes the end of my product. I follow this curve, I mirror this curve at the bottom. There we go. And finally draw in our hole. Now our hole is, I don't think it's really in the middle of this shape, is it? It's more towards the curved side, but it's probably something like that. And that is our 1-point perspective drawing of the shape above. All right.